Local productions seen on Delta College Public Media are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.
Welcome to Junia Down's The Spark. Thank you for joining us. Today I will be speaking with foster parents David and Tara Bixler. Welcome, David and Tara. What is a foster parent?
A foster parent is somebody who steps in where the biological parents can no longer care for their child, and we bring them into our home, give them a loving and caring place to live, and kind of bring them into a family environment.
And what do you need to do or be as a person to be successful in that?
Lots of patience and understanding, knowing that these kids come from an environment where they may not have had a stable environment, and they may not know how to act around a stable environment. Some of them haven't had any rules, so you have to bring rules into their lives that they may not accept. So there's some rebellion on the kids' part. And yeah, lots of understanding.
How do you, because I presume you're dealing with youngsters who have come from troubled backgrounds. How do you introduce rules or expectations or, I don't know, promptness?
We go over the house rules with every child, and most of the kids that we bring into our home, they are troubled youth. So they're through the court system. So somehow they got in trouble. It's not necessarily that the parents had the issue, it's the child. So we introduce rules that need to be followed in the home, and we have a great support system through the courts. Most of our kids have probation officers. They deal with Judge Allen, and Jody Garner is the foster care coordinator. She does a lot to help back us with anything that we need for the children. So
are you allowed to have expectations such as pitching in with setting the table?
Yes, all of the children have chores. They are also brought into the kitchen when I'm cooking or anything, just to teach life skills. One thing that's very important is most of these kids, once they turn 18 and get out of the system, they're kind of on their own. So you have to be there to help build them life skills.
How do you develop trust between the two of you? I don't mean you and David, but I mean you and the person who enters your house.
It's hard sometimes. It's definitely, you have to earn each other's trust. And once the trust is there, it's a wonderful thing. It doesn't always come with all children because their parents have betrayed their trust so much that they don't want to open themselves up to another adult to have them let them down again, I guess, is how I look at it.
For someone who's been abused verbally or ignored or put down, what have you found to be successful in working with that child?
We have not experienced a lot of kids that come from abusive situations. I think showering with love is how I would probably approach that, but I don't know.
Does it take a certain amount of time or experience?
Takes lots of time. All of the kids take a lot of time. Um, they they all come from a lot of trauma in their background, um, and time and patience, lots of patience.
Patience, yes. Are you allowed
Yeah.
to touch them in terms of giving a hug or a goodnight kiss, or that's not appropriate?
We don't do a lot of kissing, I guess, but just like in a normal house setting, if you have the child and they need a hug, I do give the kids hugs. I have a foster daughter right now that every morning before she goes to school, she gives me a hug, tells me she loves me, and goes to school. So I think any normality that you can bring to that child's life is really helpful to them.
Are you expected to take them to school or pick them up or to anything else? What are your expectations? What does the agency expect of you?
If they're not in our school district, like one of the children that we have right now, she's in the Midland Public School, Dow High, and we have to take her and pick her up every day. The other children that have been in our home generally go to Bullet Creek and they get on the bus. But if they aren't living in our district, when they come to us, they're not going to be in our schooling system. So we transport.
Is there a preferred age that you like to work with?
We do, I think our license is open from 6 until 18. We do more of the older children.
And David, if it's a girl, I read that you prefer girls or only will take girls. If they've had a bad experience with a man in the back previously, how do you calm that down and give her another experience?
Calm it down.
Yeah, the fear.
That's a tough one. Mostly I end up being more of a father figure to them, and I just basically just talk to them. It's not really, I guess I really don't know. Just more of a father figure to them.
And what become the stresses on you with the children?
There's really not much stress about it. I mean, they do, mess up occasionally. So it's just like dealing with your own kids, really. That's the way you need to look at this. I mean, you take them into your home and you basically take them as yours and you just deal with them like you would your own kid.
I imagine there must be satisfaction in working with these children. What are they for you?
Well, for me, the ones that most of them that we've actually gotten them off probation, and that's very satisfying that, they got out of the court system and out on their own or back with their biological parents. That's very nice.
That would be. And what are some of the frustrations?
Them running away.
We had a few run away. Frustrations is the ones that don't want to follow our house rules and stuff like that. Some of it can be hard to get them to do things the proper way or the way we like them done compared to where they came from.
And how long do they stay? Is there a goal about their prior life, or just explain it to us?
That's really all up to the courts and how quickly they can go home. We do our best to teach them the proper ways and stuff like that, to have them follow the rules or jump through the hoops that they need to do to go home. That's really up to the courts.
We are classified as a short-term placement for these kids. So we should only have them between 6 months and a year. And then we get some like we had that we have one that we've had for 5 years.
That's a member of the family almost.
She is. We have
She is.
taken guardianship of her now.
Yeah, she's out of the system now. We took guardianship, and so she's basically ours.
Now, Tara, your mother was a foster parent, yes?
Yes.
And so when you were growing up, what was it like to have a temporary foster sister or brother?
My mom and dad started foster care after my sister and I left. And so we were on our own, and they kind of had empty nest syndrome or something, and decided to open their home for foster kids. So I didn't have them in the house with me, but there's a few of them that they had living there as fosters that they're still part of our family.
That was really wonderful of your mother to do. And also it gave you a range of experiences from a child's point of view. And you saw firsthand some of the problems that made it necessary for that child to be away from the family. Very impressed. And how do you become a foster parent? Do you have to sign up somewhere, or what is the process?
Well, we did ours through the court. So we contacted Jody Garner, and you have to do a background check and fingerprinting, and you sit down with her and she does a whole history of your upbringing all the way up to your adult life. In the background check, they check for good moral character, like you haven't, committed crimes and stuff like that. And then they come and go through your house to make sure that it's a safe environment for the child. And you go through all that, and then
is there a limit to the number you can do? Does the applicant have some requests that can be honored, like one sex or another, or one age, or one type of problem?
Yep. See, we do the older children because those are kind of ones that know. A lot of the foster parents that I have met, they want the smaller kids, 0 to 6. Well, these teenage kids, they need a place to go. They need a place to have guidance. So we do 6 through 18 or 17. We are licensed for 3.
You've had as many as
3.
4. Do they share a room, or is it one room, one bedroom, one child?
No, the children share rooms.
I see.
There's 2 children per room.
And do the children have social workers or anybody helping them during this period besides you all?
Most of the kids go through
counseling. Responsibility.
No, they all go through counseling. They have a probation officer, because most of our kids are on probation. If not, there's a DHS worker that works with them. So, we have Jody Garner, who is our #1 support. If I have any issues with the kids and I call Jody or I call one of their probation officers, I have immediate help.
Teach us, when the children come to you, do they have a sense of gratitude or antagonistic or shame?
No shame. Most of them that we get are appreciative that they're here. You get some that really don't understand why they're not with their parents. Um, they feel that their parents are good parents and they shouldn't have been taken away from them. But there's issues, so they had to go from their parents.
Are they receiving counseling during this period, or it's just a matter of minding the rules regarding the probation?
No, most of them are in counseling through CMH.
Um, well, you are impressive because teenage years can be very rebellious. I used to tell my daughter that teenage rebellion was just a process in America. It doesn't take place in other countries. But anyway, we are Americans and it does happen. So you're courageous in a sense, adventuresome, taking on the challenge of those years. If someone talks back to you, how do you handle that situation?
You just kind of go with it. You let them know that they cannot do that. Um, it's inappropriate, and you kind of let them have a cooling off period in their room. If they have another foster sibling who is with them, that child needs to give them some space and let them collect their thoughts. And you don't dwell on it though. That's a big thing. These kids, some of them come to you and they're very angry, and you can't take it all personally. You have to give them their space, let them chill out, and then once they're calm, you address what was bothering them if they are in the right frame of mind to do that.
Does the presence of children in the house roughly their age help things or set it back? Or is it just another thing you have to adjust to as a parent and a foster child?
Just depends. We had one child who definitely um, put the house in an uproar. Um, but most of the time, I think it helps them having kids their own age. And like with the foster daughter that we took guardianship of, she's 16, so she she knows the ropes of the house, and she can help the other children and be like, this is what we have to do, it's
Oh,
that helps a lot.
tell us some more examples that either tested you or where you helped the child learn something important.
Well, in our house, I mean, we always, it's kind of a teaching house because I teach them how to cook. And David works a lot outside in the summer, so he teaches them how to do ground maintenance, I guess. They always go out and help us. um, we have chickens, so
Oh,
yeah, I kind of teach them how to take care of those. And my current foster daughter absolutely loves the chickens.
oh,
So, and
fun.
then we have dogs, and yeah.
Well, so how do they get to
So,
school then?
we have one that's at Dow High right now, and David takes her every morning and picks her up every night. And then the other one just rides the bus to Bullet Creek.
So do they live with you year round or until the court has, probably till the court has made a different decision? Or their social, and I don't
Yeah,
mean their social worker, but the process.
right. They're here until the courts say that they can either go home or they turn 18 and age out of the system.
I've read where there's a need for more volunteers as foster parents. And I've also read where there's some violence on the part of foster parents. So how does the the supervising agency support you, but also protect, children.
Yeah. The last time that we had foster kids that were through DHS, the foster worker was really, really good that we had. He was here once a month, making sure that the kids were okay. And I know that more foster parents are needed, but we need to get more in that are looking at this is for the kids and not for what they can benefit from it.
Do they get the foster parents together like in a monthly or quarterly coffee clutch, or just tune in or anything like that?
Through the course, we used to have, I think, monthly meetings where all of the foster parents came together, and it was not only so we could talk about things, but it was also we would have training sessions, like how to deal with a child that has suffered through the trauma. And like one of them was about the new drugs and stuff that kids can be on. And but since the pandemic, it's kind of we're not able to do them right now. So hopefully soon, when things get going back to semi-normal, we can meet and do these things again, because they were very helpful. I really enjoyed them.
When you sign up to be a foster parent, is for a period of time. How long is the expectation that you will continue being a foster parent?
There's nothing written in stone. Like I think each license are good for 2 years. So you're licensed for 2 years, but if you decide that you no longer want to be a foster parent, then you can stop at any time. But they do a reevaluation every 2 years to make sure that everything is going right in your home, and that you still want to be a foster parent, that you're still within good moral character and everything like that.
You've had the experience both as a child whose mom took in foster kids, and now as a mom who takes in foster kids. Did you ever find yourself in a teaching role for someone who's just starting out as a foster parent?
No.
Well, how would they take a new person to the field? If someone wanted to become a foster parent, there are no classes beforehand, or no report
there
from
are.
the field like you two?
There are classes that they have to go through, the DHS homes especially, and you have to have so much training before you can become a foster parent. And each year you have to take and do training. But I know that through DHS, they do a lot of training before you become a foster parent.
Interesting. How many foster parents are there, say, in Midland area?
I don't know. I think through the courts, there's like 7 or 8. Oh, there's 16? Oh, there's more than that. So about 16 that I know of. But through DHHS, I'm not really sure.
It's a noble experience helping another human being, especially someone who hasn't had a good experience early on or even later. So I'm glad to hear you're doing it, and you expect to do it. Now you have a couple of jobs, don't you, that you go to?
I do, yeah.
So you're away from the house roughly when to when?
I leave probably around 6:30, 6:45, and I get home about between 3 and 3:30.
You're amazing. That's really wonderful. So once a person has left your house, do they keep in touch with you? Or do you
Yes,
keep in touch with them?
both. They reach out to me and a lot. Um, when we had uh, two girls, they were sisters, they lived here. They went home to their mother, and we heard from them almost every other day. So,
That's quite a
and
compliment to
eventually,
you, both of you, that they keep in touch with you over the years. It means,
oh,
you're one of their safe spaces and loving spaces. That's an immense uh, compliment. And that you keep doing it. That's also true. Well, I appreciate your sitting down with me. It's an area I've wanted to do a program on for quite a while, and to recognize the wonderful work you did and to encourage others to consider it. So important. One of the things I learned is it teaches you patience. It teaches you
oh, definitely.
patience. And another thing I learned is expectations can be communicated, and except for a glitch here and there, are largely eventually followed. And the bond is so strong in some cases, like you had these girls stay for 5 years, and others report back to you. So, very happy to have had the chance to talk with you. Please, everybody, go out and do something kind for someone you know and someone you don't know, and do it every day going forward. See you next time. Thank you for tuning in.
To contact Junia, send her an email at juniadonsthespark@gmail.com. For more information, program schedules, and news about future guests, go to www.juniadonthespark.com. Thank you for joining us. See you next time on Junia Doan's The Spark.
Local productions seen on Delta College Public Media are made possible with support from viewers like you. Thank you.